Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get started. So hello everyone. I hope y'all doing amazing and thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Iris and I'm a sociology and psychology double major and I'm also one of the PAAs for the School of Social Sciences. I'm a transfer student and I transferred from Santa Ana College and I'm a 5th year student. So welcome to our PAA Q&A. So during this panel, students will have the opportunity to ask questions. It can be about anything. For example, how remote classes work, clubs, remote learning, some tips, even course insights when applicable. This webinar will consist of first introductions, brief degree checks, panel questions that we have prepared for you, and lastly, we are answering questions coming from you. So if you do have questions, please feel free to write it on the question and answer chat box, as we will use the general chat box for useful links and information. Please do not write your questions in the general chat, as that is reserved for campus links and resources. We will be answering your questions out loud on a rolling basis, so don't worry, we will get to you when we come to the last portion of the Q&A. Just a quick disclaimer, unfortunately, we are not able to answer questions regarding housing application statuses, financial aid, since that's out of our expertise. However, we will try our best to answer those questions or refer you to a link for further assistance. This session will last about an hour and 30 minutes, so we all hope that you stay and since we will be answering your questions. So before we begin, I would like to explain what a peer academic advisor is. PAAs are also students just like you. We go through a quarter-long training session to help students with scheduling classes, learning about majors, minors, academic questions, academic resource, and even about UCI life. So today we have 7 PAAs with us, including myself, and a special guest, Sarah, who is one of the full-time academic advisors for our school. Please, Sarah, introduce yourself, and after the rest of the ladies can follow. Thank you.
Okay, so my name's Sarah, and I am one of the full-time academic advisors in the School of Social Sciences. I also am an alumni of UCI, so I was an English major in the School of Humanities. So if anybody has questions about humanities, I'm the person to ask. I also spent some time working in education. So again, if anybody's interested in education as a major, double major, or minor, you can feel free to send me an email. But yeah, so that's me. So I will go ahead and pass it back to the PAs to introduce themselves.
Hello everyone, I'm Karen. I'm a 4th year psychology major. I'm also a transfer student. I transferred from Long Beach City College. Welcome to UCI.
Hi, I'm Christy. I'm a 3rd year double major in social policy and public service and education. And thank you all for joining us today.
Hi everyone, my name is Marimar. I'm a double major in International Studies and Public Health Policy. I'll be a 5th year this year, and thank you for joining us today.
Hi everyone, I'm Olivia. I'm a 3rd year student majoring in economics and data science, and welcome to the session.
Hi everyone, my name is Sam, and I'm a 3rd year majoring in business economics and minoring in art history. Welcome to UCI. Also with us, we have Waylon. She is another PAA, and unfortunately, she's not able to talk, but she will still be interacting with everybody in the chat. She's a 4th year majoring in psychology.
Thank you so much for Sarah and the rest of the lovely PAs for your introductions. Now Sarah will go ahead and go over the degree checks.
Okay, so one thing we wanted to do for you guys was show you, kind of do a breakdown of what your degree check sheets are going to look like. So at this point, you should have all received a degree check sheet from the advisor who went through your transfer coursework and gave you your fall course recommendations. So we want to actually take a moment to go through that with you rather, so that you can understand what that sheet means in a little bit more detail. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and walk you through the different components of the degree check. So let me go ahead and do that. Okay, So hopefully everyone is able to see my screen. So today we are going to look at a sample degree check for a transfer student in the anthropology major. So if any anthrop majors are here, this will be super relevant for you, but for everybody else, just kind of take this as a general guide. So as you can see, Phoebe Buffet, our favorite weirdo from Friends, is an anthropology major who has transferred to UCI. And this would be a sample of what we would send her after we review her transcripts. So you can see the first thing, name, student ID number, and then at the top what we have are the university requirements or the UC requirements. So these are those requirements that are the same for every student across the entire UC system. So entry-level writing, American history, and American institutions. So right now, if any of you have logged into your student access, you may have seen that these requirements have not been checked off, that it says you still need to do them. So one thing I always like to mention is that right now, admissions is still going through all of your information. So if you're like, but I took an American history class, why is it saying I still need to do this? Don't freak out. Admissions isn't going to have all of your records updated probably until the middle of fall quarter. And so right now, everything in your like degree works and in your unofficial transcript is all kind of fluid. It's moving because it's still being updated, which is partly why we give you this degree check sheet, because we know that, you know, the online system hasn't been updated yet. So if you see something that isn't filled in your degree works or on your transcript that should be at this time, don't panic. If it's still a problem in the middle of fall quarter, then you can contact us. But for now, go ahead and let it be. But this is where we would mark off those entry-level requirements. As a transfer student, most of you have completed these requirements, but if you haven't, we will let you know. So you'll know if there's something in that area that you need to do. The next thing we'll talk about is the column on the far left. So in our degree check sheet, the column on the left will show you the general education requirements. So you'll see that Phoebe here told us in her transfer registration form that she has IGETC from her community college. So we have gone ahead and marked off all of the GE requirements that IGETC covers. So IGETC covers lower division writing, science and technology, the social and behavioral sciences, arts and humanities areas, as well as language other than English, multicultural studies, and international global issues. So this is why it's really amazing if you do have IGETC for you to turn that into us so that we can mark off all of your GE requirements. So if you went to a California community college, it's worth it if you have not already asked for IGETC for you to contact your community college and say, hey, can you review the classes that I took at my CC and see if I actually qualify for IGETC. The other thing is if you don't have a full IGETC or you're not qualified for full IGETC, you can request a partial IGETC. So usually if you're missing like 1 or 2 classes from the IGETC requirements, your community college will give you a partial. And what that does is it clears all of your requirements except for that 1 class. So then all you would need to do is take that 1 little class at UCI and that will complete your IGETC requirement. So super important to ask if you haven't already. Please note that we do need you to give us your IGETC electronically because we're not able to accept physical copies right now since we're all working remotely on campus. So you can have your community college advisor email our office directly, or you can have them send it to UCI admissions. Either way will be fine. The next part that I want to talk about is kind of like wrapped into the GE section, which is the math component and the computer tech component. So social sciences is a school that has, beyond its major requirements for each of the individual majors, we do have a set of school requirements that all majors have to complete. And these are a math requirement and a computer tech requirement. So you can see here, we talk about math under the GE category 5 for math. So you have to take it for a letter grade. A lot of students have not completed the math requirement at their community college because for IGETC purposes, you only need to take like 1 math class. And for our purposes, you have to complete either a year-long stat series or you have to complete 2 quarters of calculus and 1 quarter of statistics. So you can see here, for example, that Phoebe took the equivalent of Stat 7 at her community college, but it looks like she does not want to take calculus at UCI, which is a fairly common occurrence, and is instead choosing to take Anthro 10A in the fall. So students who don't want to have to take calculus and still need to fulfill the math requirement do have the option of taking the year-long statistics series. If you did take a semester of statistics at your community college, it's not going to count, unfortunately. So you will have to start at the beginning. Phoebe's taking the Anthro series, but most students will take the social science 10A, 10B, 10C series. So if your academic advisor recommended that you take social science 10A for fall quarter, please do sign up for that. You are going to want to take that or start that series this year because a lot of majors do require that you have that course series complete before you can move on to a few of the upper division classes. The other school requirement is the computer tech. So again, most students will take social science 3A just because it's easier to get into than the ICS class. And you can take that at any time, but if you're interested, I think there are still seats open for the fall, so you could add that class if you would like. Okay, so that kind of covers UC requirements, GE requirements, and school requirements. So now on your degree check sheet for whatever major you're in, your major requirements will be in the center column and the right-hand column. So you can see here the Anthro requirements start with the intro courses, and then you get into kind of your upper division electives over here. And then at the end of the whole degree check sheet, we will actually do a unit calculation for you where we tell you how many units you have left to complete in order to hit the 180 minimum required for graduation. So your transfer ones that you got won't have your units listed on them, so don't panic, but we actually don't know how many units you're transferring in yet because admissions has not actually finalized making that calculation. So that's another fun thing. You're going to have to kind of wait until fall quarter starts to get an accurate count of how many units that you've transferred in. So the last thing I want to point out is kind of just what's filled in and what's going on in the major section. So on your individual degree check sheet, anything that's been filled in the way like the 2 introductory courses have been filled in here. So for example, Phoebe took Anthro 2 and Anthro 3 at her community college. And those are the equivalent to Anthro 2A here at UCI and Anthro 2D here at UCI. So what this means is that Phoebe's already getting credit for these 2 classes. So you cannot take those classes here at UCI. So if you, on your degree check, see that a section has been marked off or like we wrote your transfer class in there, we've already given you credit for that requirement. And so please do not enroll in that class here at UCI because that would be duplicate credit, which we cannot award you. So if you tried to enroll in the same class, you're not going to get any units for it and it's not going to help you out. The other thing too, if you would like us to do degree check sheets for you in the future, you'll note that we tend to write your in progress courses as well with like a little notation that says it's in progress for this current quarter. So on Phoebe's check sheet, you can see that we added her fall quarter courses to her degree check. So she's taking Anthro 2B, Anthro 10A, and Anthro 134A in the fall. So that would give you an idea in the future of, okay, well, here's what I've already taken, here's what I am taking, so then anything that's blank is what I still need to take. So that is kind of a walkthrough of the degree check sheet. One thing I would like to mention too is that these degree checks have a lot of helpful information, especially for other majors like econ or psych or language science, that actually tell you like, hey, you're going to need to take prerequisites if you want to take these classes that are required for a major, or you know, you can only overlap certain classes. So like if you're a psych major, for example, it'll tell you like, hey, so you want to take a psychological science class, like these are the only ones you can do, or, you know, so it's really important to pay attention to the fine print on the degree check sheet too. because that's going to give you a lot of additional information on the do's and don'ts for what you can do with your major. Okay, so that is the walkthrough. Let me see, do we have any questions about the degree check sheet that we need to talk about? I can't see the chat with the share screen happening.
They will write their questions on the Q&A and then we will get back to them.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you, Sarah. That was great. So we're gonna move on to the panel questions that we have prepared for everyone. I'm gonna go ahead and start with the first one. It says, how did you adapt at UCI when you first started as a new student? Any of the PAs can go ahead first.
Okay, so I'll start. So as a transfer student, academically, it was a little hard, just because everything is a little fast-paced compared to when you're at a community college. Because at a community college, it's by semester system, so it's 16 to 18 weeks. Unlike the quarter system, which is 10 weeks, and then you got a week extra for finals. So the amount is in a way cut in half. That's why it's also recommended for students to enroll in 12 to 14 units, just so they could get used to the pace, also because everything is online. Socially, it was the hardest for me as well, just because I didn't know anyone and I was super shy. However, joining clubs and going out of my way to talk to my housemates, getting to know them, that helped me out so much.
Thank you. I would like to share my experience. Like Karen mentioned, everything that I felt also, it was kind of overwhelming because it's a bigger campus, and then the studies are different, but going to community college really helped facilitate my integration to UCI and academic wise. But yeah, I definitely recommend that you join a club. They're amazing. I mean, it might be scary at first because it's so new and different, but explore. You'll find your niche. Everyone is in the same boat as you, trust me. Even though you might think everyone has their life together, because they're finding their stuff, some people are not in the same boat as you. They understand. And yeah, the quarter system really does go by really, really fast. And especially now during quarantine and remote learning, it's best to kind of keep a schedule, keep a planner, write everything down, and just find time for yourself, because it's really, really, really hard out there. Yeah, that's my take on that.
I would say be patient with yourself. This is a process. You are adapting to a new system. It's different than community college. I mean, I'm not a transfer, but I've heard different experiences. But just keep in mind that, you're adapting still. So just be patient and try not to compare yourself to others, just because, like Iris said, it seems like maybe the people around you have it all together and that their progress may be they're doing better or something, but that's not always the case. And you don't want to, pressure yourself too much your first quarter.
Another thing to adjust the campus is to explore the campus very well. There are lots of resources on campus you can utilize, even though we're remote learning right now, but you can still get access to those resources online. For example, if you have any question about academically, you can have an office hour with your professor, by Zoom appointment or so. And also if you have anything regarding to career problems, you can go to SARC, you can go to career pathway by also Zoom appointment. So you can done well during this time. And yeah.
For me, when I came to UCI, I'm not a transfer student either, but when I came to UCI, it was my first time being away from home for so long. So I got pretty homesick. My hometown is probably 40 minutes from UCI, but like I still felt homesick because I miss my family from living with them. So what I would do is I always like call my mom, like when I got out of class or just like when I was going to work, like I always make sure to call her and like, you know, just keep up with everything that was going back home so I could feel that sense that like, you know, they're still there for me even if we're like apart. Also, I wanted to mention, like as Sam said, like be patient with yourself. Like I want to overemphasize that too, just because like this is a whole new chapter. So take it easy, you know, like you made it here, you deserve to be here. So everything that comes from here is like all for you, like you deserve it. And I'm very excited for this new chapter. You have us here to help you as well. So never forget that.
I would also like to add, because as a transfer student, I always thought like I had time, but honestly, it goes by really, really fast. And you're here for 2 years. You're here as a junior, so I mean, if you transfer as a freshman from high school, you have 4 years to explore like campus. But as a transfer student, you just like it just flies by. You know, you're like, oh wow, I'm already like done with 1 year. I suggest that you guys really get like involved and like go in clubs, talk to people, professors, and even if you want to stay a fifth year, like it's not like I'm staying a fifth year and I love it. Like I know it takes more time, but you'll definitely like feel very like accomplished at the end. I feel like that's it. And if you're going to grad school, like it's really, really good to like build like kind of like some family at your university. So yeah, so if anyone wants to add anything, I could continue to the next question. You're good? Okay. So it says, how did you get involved on campus? What clubs, organizations are you in? How can students get involved? I'm gonna go ahead and start this one off. I wanna introduce my club. It's called LSPA. It's the Latinx Students Psychological Association. The club, it emphasizes academics, research, practical experience, leadership, community service. One of the many objectives of LSPA is to enhance the college experience of dedicated students aspiring to serve underrepresented communities in the mental health area. LSP places a great emphasis on facilitating and creating a sense of belonging and the formation of an academic family to help ease the college experience of many students. LSPA does not restrict to psychology majors, even though it's in the name. Anyone can join. It's like open to any major. We're trying to build an inclusive environment where everybody can feel like family and supported. You could be from humanities, you can be from the sciences, from the social, what do you call it? The physical sciences, any of those schools, and you will be welcomed as well. This club is overlooked and guided by Dr. Castellanos, which is apart from being an amazing mentor, she's an associate dean for undergraduate studies in the School of Social Sciences. So she also has her own labs. It's really amazing. Like if you guys want to join, I'll put our Instagram information in the chat, and you guys can check us out.
So Waylon actually put a really, really helpful website down in the chat, campusorgs.uci.edu. And basically, if you go to this website and scroll to the bottom, you're able to click on a little block that says like, explore our 600 clubs, because we have a to search up any club that you're interested in. So say that you're interested in art club, you can just type in art in the search bar and all the art clubs associated with UCI will come up, including their contact information. So if you want to directly contact the club and kind of ask them about their plans for fall quarter, then you'll be able to do that. Keep in mind that most clubs will actually be active during fall quarter. They'll be holding virtual events. We are actually going to be having something called the virtual Anteater Involvement Fair. Usually we have an Anteater Involvement Fair held in Aldrich Park, which is behind me, and it's where all the clubs come out and booth. And because we're not going to be able to be on campus, they are going to be holding it virtually. And Waylon also put a link down in the chat if you want to know more about the virtual Anteater Involvement Fair. But that is another great event to go to later on in September, where you'll be able to actually go and see clubs online. I don't know exactly how it's going to work yet, but there'll be more information coming out about that.
The way I first started getting involved was I definitely saw, like, I would really read my emails. So I want to emphasize that, like, read your emails. I know some of them may be a little long, but I would definitely say read them just because they do offer a lot of involvement opportunities, application links, and dates. So you could get like a heads up on when they're due. Also, I would definitely say make a Facebook just because I didn't have a Facebook when I first came to UCI. So I didn't know a lot about like opportunities on campus. So I was just focused on like schoolwork. So that first year at UCI, I wasn't involved as much, which I really, really regret. Just because I really wish I would have just gone out there and enjoyed it a little more. But definitely, like, it's never too late. Like, you could definitely go on Facebook now and like make one. Like, I know there's like a whole bunch of like applications out that want new people and like new ideas and just they want you, you know. So you could join Facebook, get onto like the class of 2024. Like, all those opportunities are for you. Like, my first involvements were like being a mentor in the Ant Leader Mentorship Program and then a peer health educator at the UCI Center for Student Wellness and Health Promotion. So those are like my first two involvements at UCI, which literally changed my entire academic career because I met so many amazing people. So even now, like, I'm still a peer health educator. So in that position, like, I'm able to inform my peers about health topics, which include like sexual health, alcohol and other drugs, wellness, emotional well-being, body positivity. So it's just like all these topics. So if you're interested in that as well, I'll put a link in the chat just so you could get like, you could know when like the deadline is and stuff like that.
I guess like also like on your journey of like getting involved in finding clubs, it's okay to like join something and then find out that's not for you. I was scared to back out of a club that didn't really fit me, and you know, it's not that bad. You know, like they understand that like not everything is always going to be like your fit, um, but you will eventually find something, and at least like you had the opportunity to try it out, and maybe you like met some people who showed you like the clubs that they're in, and like I don't know, that's like what I did. I heard a lot about other clubs from other people, so yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. That is so helpful. Okay, so it says, tell us first that you recommend the most. What are the resources transfer should be taken advantage of? I'll give you guys the floor, whoever wants to start.
So at UCI, there we have the Transfer Student Hub, which consists of programs within it. So for example, one program is called the First Year Transfer Experience Program. So basically they provide workshops, Lark scholarships, which is for free tutoring, book loans, discounted printing. And then if you're struggling academically or you're on academic probation, there is this Transfer Triumph program. And then just to quickly mention, if you're a former or current foster youth, we also have a program called Foster Youth Resilience in Education. It doesn't matter what age you were in the foster care system. It isn't like the community colleges who only accept foster students who were in the system after the age of 16. So yeah, check it out, Transfer Student Hub and the Foster Youth Resilience in Education if you are a former or current foster youth.
Thank you, Karen. I'm going to go ahead and introduce SARC. So SARC stands for Social Science Academic Resource Center, and it's in the name. It's a resource center for all students. Even though it's in the social sciences, it's open to anyone, to any major. It emphasizes on professional development, for cover letters, mock interviews, resume help, CV help. If you don't know what a CV is, some people don't know what a CV is, etiquette for emails, grad school, scholarships, internships. What else? They have critiques for your resumes as well that help you how to create a good resume. And yeah, that's like really good a really good resource to actually have, you know, in mind if you want to develop your professional skills and all that good stuff. I suggest you guys check that out as well. I'll leave the link on the chat.
I would say another resource to really utilize, especially during a remote quarter, well, actually, this should be for any quarter, are your TAs and your professors, like their office hours in particular, just because I feel like it's really easy to not go to office hours. Like, I know that for me, like, I honestly did not go to office hours, like, my first year at all. I was too nervous, too, like, worried about what the professor would think of me. But honestly, it's a really good resource to utilize just because especially if it's a class that you're interested in, or you know that the professor is teaching something that you're interested in doing later on as well, you're able to ask a lot of questions to the professor and the TAs. And TAs are usually like, you know, PhD students or grad students at the school. So they also have experience from where you were, you know, right now. So they'll be able to answer a lot of like questions about their own experiences to grad school, or just about what their major is and everything. So it's really good to utilize that, especially during a remote quarter, because not as many people are even attending like office hours and stuff, just because it's, I don't know, it's different over a screen and everything. But just don't be afraid to utilize them. You really should. They're a great resource for a lot of things.
I also wanted to mention the writing center. So UCI has a writing center. I used to go there in person. Like I would make an appointment and go with someone that would like read my scholarship applications or just like a paper that I had due. But also since everything's remote, like you could still go, like you could still make a Zoom appointment or like email consultations, and they'll still provide very insightful feedback for like those papers or any applications like that you may have. The only thing I do want to mention is that, you know, it's very popular. So people like meeting times get really full really quickly. So like if you are interested in like using that resource, you could like make an appointment early, like once you find out that deadline, and like just make sure you have that spot secured. I'll put the link as well in the chat if you want to look more into it too.
There's also a pretty healthy resource on campus, especially during this quarantine, because I mean everybody are pretty boring because they cannot go outside or go to the gym. So there's a website called UCI Campus Recreation. It's a program called Anteaters at Home, and there's a lot of Zoom classes like yoga, like meditation, or body fitness. You can register online by Zoom, and it is all free during this time. So please register, and I will send the link in the chat.
You so much. I want to add an extra resource just to throw it out there. UCI has a food pantry. So if you guys feel like you need to get any food, utilities, like they have it in the food pantry, and it's open to UCI students. You know, take advantage of the distribution that they're giving to students. I went yesterday, I think, and it's pretty cool. Like you get anything, like they have food, they have fruits, they have milk, they have vegetables, anything that you would want to like, you know, take advantage of for your consumption. I'll go ahead and provide the link in the chat. You guys can check it out more in depth, and then make an appointment, because it's by appointment, and they do it every Wednesday. So far that I'm aware, every Wednesday you sign up, go for 15 minutes, and you pick up your food, and you're good to go. And you can do as many times as you want. They have other resources within the food pantry, so like, you know, if you want to check that out, that's an option. Like right now, you know, with COVID and everything, it's pretty tough out there. So if you just want to check it out at your own discretion, I'll leave it on the chat. So does anybody else have anything else to add, or no? Okay, let me go. Oh, yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
No. I was gonna say I put the link in the chat for you about the Basic Needs Hub. Please utilize it. That's an awesome resource. Yeah.
Thank you, Christy. Okay, so I guess we'll move on to the next question. It says, you recently experienced remote learning at UCI, which is on a quarter system, 10 weeks, plus one finals week. Tell us a bit about your experience and best advice. Anyone can jump in.
So for me, my first remote quarter was actually really tough, just because it was really different, you know, because I moved back home from campus, so I was doing all my work from home, which was really different, like doing college courses from my house as opposed to being like at the actual school. But I would say that, like, you know, just make a schedule for yourself, because it's really easy to kind of lose motivation during remote quarter because all the days start to blend together, And with all of your lectures, a lot of them are pre-recorded and they're uploaded at different times. They may not have a set time when they're uploaded or they're being shown. So it's really good to make a schedule for yourself to kind of have like a daily plan. So I would highly suggest using a planner, using a Google Calendar, using a bullet journal if you're into that. Just any way to actually keep a schedule for yourself. One thing that Christine always says, she's another PA, she's not here with us today, but she always says, check the syllabus before class starts just so that you're aware of all of the dates, all of the assignments that are going to be due later on in the quarter, and that you're able to kind of map out when you want to do your work. Yeah, so that's definitely something that I would do. Another thing that I do to kind of like help me get motivated to do like my classes and my work is I get ready in the morning. Like when I first started remote learning, I did not really get ready. I would just be in my pajamas all day. You know, I was home, I wasn't going to see anybody, so it didn't really matter to me. But one thing that I've actually found is that actually getting ready makes me want to, you know, sit down and do my lectures because I feel more like I'm going to school, like I'm actually there, as opposed to just being at home. So that's just a little fun thing you can also do to help kind of motivate yourself.
Thank you. I would, and my advice would be what Samantha said, like just adding on, just keep organized, check your emails, email your professors, your TAs. If you need help, reach out. Like don't just sit there at home thinking, oh wow, I'm doomed, you know, in a class. Like just reach out to your peers even and your TAs. They'll be happy to help you. Stay organized as well, like that's key, because sometimes you feel like since it's online and you don't really like, you're not in class, you can just kind of get away with not like doing stuff, but honestly it catches up to you, and when it does, it's like really bad, not for good for your mental health. So please like reach out to your teachers, take some mental breaks, like even mental days if you like, you know, like time for yourself, get away from you, and if you're at home and your family, like be really honest about having me time, because you know that sometimes is really needed during school and all that stuff just piles up, you know. And yeah, like honestly, like that's my best advice. As a transfer student, like I live at home, so like I tend to just kind of keep to myself, and like I do reach out, like that's helped a lot. Like I know sometimes it's scary to reach out to your TAs because you think they're not going to be like, I don't know, inviting or something. Sometimes they're not, it just really depends. But if you just reach out, they're like they're there for that reason, to help you and help you achieve your goal in your course. And otherwise, just reach out to your professor as well and check your email constantly. Like don't be leaving your email behind like for weeks, because you really want the updates, because it's really important.
Yeah, so like Ira said, really stressing mental health, it is so important to take care of yourself during remote quarter, because sometimes it's just easy to, I don't know, like just lose track of everything and you're not realizing that you're struggling. So just make sure that you are really taking care of yourself, that you're taking breaks, you're being kind to yourself, you know, you're doing things that you really enjoy. Maybe pick up a hobby that you haven't done in a few years. I know that I still really love reading, but I hadn't done it. I hadn't been reading a lot for like me in a while, and being home and being in like a remote quarter gave me more time to kind of focus on things that I enjoy. And so that's just something to really keep in mind, because it can take a toll on you. So just make sure that you are taking care of yourself this upcoming quarter.
And also during quarantine, like you're studying at home, so there will be a lot of distractions from like maybe on your phone. So like for me, the way that I keep away from my distraction is to have mobile apps like growing trees. So like during my study time, I won't be able to use my phone or the trees will be killed. So like yeah, definitely keep away from distractions, and also please do not procrastinate, and make a like to-do list for your like today's works or today's classes, and do the things you make plans for today. Don't wait for tomorrow.
Okay. If we're good, we'll move on to the next question, which it kind of ties in with the last question. What is the best advice you received when you first started at UCI? I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna answer that. I would just say like utilize UCI now, like currently utilize UCI. UCI is, even though it's no one's there really technically, it's open. Everything, the resources are open. The counseling center is open. Like the advising is open. We're all like it's open. So utilize it. Reach out, make appointments, and really like don't just sit like lonely in your room or just think like everything's over. If you do something, like we're here. Like we have like the email that you can email us and just be like, hey, like what's going on? Like I have this question. We'll definitely answer to our best knowledge or refer you to the best resource. Yeah, that's my best advice. Like if you have a pet your pet. Like I like doing that. that's my stress reliever. I pet my little dog. Oh, anyone else doesn't want to go ahead and add to it? Like the best advice you received when you first started at UCI? No, we're good. We're all good. Okay. Okay, sounds good. Okay. Okay. For our PAAs who dorm or live near UCI, how did you commute around campus and what were the advantages and disadvantages? I'm gonna go ahead and just like throw myself out there. So like we mentioned, like get familiar with UCI. Like even though we're not there, like really get familiar with like where everything is. Like it's a big campus. It's like I just call it the own like little mini city. Every time I mention UCI, because it's like literally like it's huge, And there's so many like places and you could explore and it's just huge. But I would suggest to like get SoftFinder. Like that's one of the things that I used when I started, just to know where the campuses were, and where like the bathrooms were too, and Starbucks maybe sometimes it's there. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on the chat so you guys can see where you can download that app, and if anybody else wants to go ahead and add to that.
So for me, when I lived on campus, I would mainly use our Anteater Express as my form of transportation, which the Anteater Express is like a bus system that we have at UCI for UCI students. It is free, it does not cost anything, and you do not have to show like any form of identification to get on it. And it's really nice because it'll take you around the area, like to all the little housing units that are around UCI and connected to UCI. And it was nice because I lived around 15 to 20 minutes away from this. So, if I had an early morning class or a late night class and I did not feel like walking, it was great. But also, I also walked everywhere just because UCI is a huge campus and it's so beautiful that I got really used to walking. It was a great form of exercise for me. And it's also really peaceful and kind of nice to be on campus walking around. So those are like my two main form of transportation.
I'll also link in the CHOUR app, just because with that app you could see like what times the bus will stop by and stops, and like when your stop will be incoming. Just because you don't want to wait too long for a bus stop. Like I know I had a 3-hour night class once, and I didn't want to wait like 40 minutes for a bus, So I would make sure to like look at the right event. If like I saw it was coming in like 1 minute, I would like run to it because I didn't want to wait. But yeah, I'll put that in so when you do go back to campus, like you'll have that set up already.
So yeah, like Samantha said, at UCI, like if you're gonna dorm or just like even if you're not dorming and you just want to go, let's say, to like, I don't know, see a friend at some dorming area like ACC. Yeah, like the Anteater Express, before COVID, it would take you to West Irvine, Diamond Jamboree, and the Irvine Spectrum, but like sadly, because of what's going on, those lines are going to be suspended during fall. However, all on-campus routes, so like the ones that like just go around campus, around the dorming areas, those will be in service. So yeah, you don't have to pay, just hop on.
I would just like to ask something real quickly. Waylon actually put her advice to everyone in the chat as well, and it's great advice, so I think you should go and check it out as well.
Yes, thank you, Waylon and Samantha. Yeah, like so I'm a transfer student, so I live off campus. I forgot to mention. But to UCI, I only suggest to have time management for when you leave your house. If you live really close to UCI, even though like traffic really does get to you, it's it's pretty bad sometimes. So just be mindful of the time that it takes you to get to campus, and then from there to your class. And if you work, also like take into consideration your hours. And for your mental health, don't overwhelm yourself, because I've done it before and I felt like I was Superwoman or something. But honestly, like it's not really good, because then you jeopardize your academics sometimes for just like a job that probably doesn't understand like you're a student and you're like dying to get an education. But yeah, that's a different story. But yeah, does any of the PAs have anything else to add, or should we move on to the next question? Next question? Okay. Alrighty, so let's see. It says that, oh, the good one. How can students get involved in research? Are any of our PAAs involved in research? You guys can, if you guys want to go ahead and start and see what we can.
So I was involved in research this past year. It was like a year-long research seminar, part of the program in public health. So like I would learn about research ethics, like how people would conduct like their own studies. So we had a lot of guest speakers come in. We were also assigned to faculty mentor, where I was assigned to Dr. LeBron, who is a professor in the Chicano Latino department and in the program in public health. So I learned a lot from hers. Like I learned a lot about like environmental health, environmental justice, because I had data for her for the anti-soil lead project, which is like a project based in Santa Ana, where they kind of uncover lead exposure to like reduce the health risk it imposes on the community. So I learned so much about that, so much so that I asked her to continue being my mentor for this upcoming year in the Public Health Honors Research Program, where I'll be able to conduct my own and then write an honors thesis throughout the year as well. So the reason I would recommend research is just because it's another way to kind of unleash curiosity and kind of learn more about stuff that interests you or stuff that you may not even know about, outside of the classroom. You get to have that, close relationship with like a faculty mentor, like a professor, which would be really cool for like if you ask for letters of rec, if you're thinking of grad school already too. But yeah, like I've been enjoying my research experience. Like I'm very excited for this upcoming year. And so if you want to like enhance your data skills, your analysis skills, then I would definitely recommend that. And I also take advantage because UCI is a research university. So like all your TAs and professor were probably involved or are still involved in like conducting their own studies. So they always love talking about it. So if you want to get to know one of them better, you can always ask them about that too.
So at UCI, we have a program called the Undergraduate Research Opportunities Program. And right now they're hosting events. If you have like any questions about research, and everything is on Zoom, through Zoom. If you go to their website, they have a list of on and off campus research opportunities. There is also the student research interest form. So basically it's a form where you talk about yourself, your research interests, goals. And then once you submit the form, a research counselor will get back to you via email, so you could set up an appointment. And no, you don't need prior research experience to join. It is there to help you gain that experience. Oh, and one more thing, there's also the faculty profile system. So basically, it's a website where you find the list of professors that are involved in research or the research interests. And let's say like if a professor has a lab and you're interested in that lab, you could just email the professor and be like, oh, hi, let's say I read so-and-so paper about you, and I am wondering if you're recruiting people, something like that. So I will be posting those links on the regular.
Anyone else want to add something? Well, I want to mention that because we got this question in another webinar, like if they really do need research, you don't need to do research. Like it's not like mandatory, but it's something that maybe if you like it, you can pursue it. You can learn more. I mean, it's a very rewarding experience, but you don't have to. It's not mandatory. So I want to throw it out there. We added the research because a lot of students kind of want to get involved but don't know how. So like this is a really good resource for you to start off if you want to. Like you don't have to. Like I want to emphasize you don't have to. Like sometimes research for some people is like I don't want to do it. Like it's not my interest. You can go different routes. But we are a research institution, so like that's pretty a bonus. But that's not like mandatory. I want to add that. Does anybody else want to like add their advice on research or no? Okay. So that concludes our panel questions on our end. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the questions that y'all have for us. Let me see. Okay, so here's a goody one. The first one is, if I plan to minor in education, can I pass no pass an ED class for this summer? What do you guys think on this one?
I honestly do not know. I feel like you would probably have to actually email the School of Education themselves to ask about that, because that would be like an education class and a minor that is not associated with like our school. So I would suggest emailing the School of Education.
I wanna add that I didn't know because but because of COVID, many of the schools are kind of like bypassing the fact that if you have an education course, like a major requirement course, you can take it for a pass no pass, but just depends on the school. Like Sam said, like really reach out to the school to see if they in their curriculum that's allowed for summer. Yeah, like that's my best take. But I've heard that's happening for spring. Summer is, I think the same thing, but I don't know. Just like really reach out to make sure.
Oh, do you guys mind if I jump in?
Oh yeah.
So for most minors on campus, you can take a maximum of 2 classes that are required for the minor for pass no pass. If you're taking the education class this summer, it should be covered under the COVID exception. So pretty much all majors and minors across campus are accepting courses taken either spring 2020 or summer 2020 as you can take them pass no pass, and they will count for both major and minor requirements. So if you're taking the education class this summer, then yes, you should be able to take it pass no pass and use it for the minor.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sarah. That really helped. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and move on to the next question. It says, are you guys going to be our mentors, or how can we find mentors as incoming transfer students? I heard that about A&P, but someone told me that's exclusively for freshmen.
Yes, we are your mentors, are your peer advisors for the School of Social Sciences. It is us plus four more PAAs. However, sadly they couldn't join us today, so it's a total of 11 of us. If you want to contact us later on at the end of the session, we will be posting our email. So basically, you could when you write us in the email, you could say, hey, I would like to talk specifically to a transfer student, like some advice. Or is there a peer advisor majoring, let's say, in political science that could advise me on this political science class? And then one of our poli-sci advisors, peer advisors, will get back to you. But yes, we are your mentors in a way.
Thank you, Karen. Yeah, we have, I think, a total of 3 transfers, which is including me, you, Karen, and Waylon. She's there. She's there, that are transfers, and we all have like similar majors, and we have the other PAs that are a mix of other majors as well. But just be very specific in your email, like, oh, I want to know about this. And mentors can range from us and even outside of us. Like you can search for mentors, even professors as mentors as well. So like you're not restricted just to us, but we're here because we're like the first ones to be in touch with you. And from us, we can lead you to more resources. So just reach out to us and we can help you get guided as a transfer student and even students overall through the whole process. Does anybody else want to add anything? No? Okay, we're so good. Okay. It says, are there ways for someone to still feel part of UCI through remote learning? Of course, that's what like all the clubs are for. That's how you still kind of feel like involved, still being there. Reach out to I think most professors, I'm assuming, not all of them, are trying to find that like way of integrating the class together. I'm pretty sure they're thinking of ways, but yeah, like clubs are one thing because they're going to be meeting regardless of COVID. So like that's one thing to make you feel part of a family, like I mentioned. Academic family, like I mentioned, my club, like that's our goal, like to make everyone feel inclusive and share space, and so everyone can feel comfortable and kind of enjoy the the student experience. So yeah, definitely clubs are like my thing. Like that should be something like as a transfer student, I wish I had in the beginning because I really was shy. I didn't want to like reach out. But now I'm so glad I have a club that I can call my academic family and like reach out whenever I need some advice for anything.
I think Iris, like really covered it. And I also think just, keep in mind that all the campus resources like the Division of Career Pathways, the Counseling Center, SARC, they're all still here for you. And that's just another way to keep connected to the campus and, still feel like you're still at UCI.
Also, I wanted to mention, like, if you have Facebook or like, have access to like any social media with UCI, like, a lot of the resources on campus still hold a lot of events for students, just to know about the resources, get to know more people. So you could always attend those too as like a study break, or like if you have time, definitely check those out because they always invite people and they always happy to have new faces there too. Mhm.
Great. So let's go ahead and move on to the next question. It says, how do you start your own club?
There are a lot of like different requirements that you have to meet. I will post a link because there's actually like a set of, Waylon posted it, registering for a club, just because there's like a lot of different things you have to have. Like you have to make sure it's student run, you have to make sure that you already have officers committed to the club. So definitely check out the link if you're interested in starting your own club.
Yeah, you have to petition to start a club, and it's pretty lengthy, sometimes tedious, but you have to have a real structured kind of thing going on so it can make it happen. So yeah, really check that link out. Okay, it says, next question says, any advice for getting a work study job? How long did you wait until you got a response when you apply on Handshake? Does anybody wanna take that one or know about it?
Well, I'm on work study, so when I came in as a freshman, like I accepted my award, and then like right as soon as like fall quarter started, I started looking for an on-campus job. So yeah, like I would just mention like I have work study, and then they'll kind of take care of the rest. About Handshake, I've never used Handshake, so I'm not sure about that. But usually with work study jobs and like on-campus positions, they usually let me know like in a week or two, probably.
So I have applied through Handshake, just one job. So it was during the same time that I was applying for this job as well. I was applying to become like a transfer edge mentor. And I heard back from them within like 3 weeks. So I would say like maybe 2-3 weeks, because it also depends on like how many applicants they're receiving. And they have to go over the resumes and the applications. So I would say 2-3 weeks.
Okay, great. Hopefully that answered or gave you some guidance. Okay, so the next question is where will this recording be posted? Will it be posted?
Yes, it will be posted on their Canvas module, and we're trying to make it. We'll try to post it on our website as well. So we're working on that.
Cool. Thank you, Karen. Okay, so the next question is, during our remote quarter, will we have access to tutoring?
Yes. So you would apply, let's say like if you need help in math or in bio or chemistry or anything like that, go to the Lark website. I don't know if one of our PAs could like post it meanwhile I'm talking. So yeah, the thing is about Lark is that it does cost money if you are not part of a specific program. If you are part of any program that is within the student success initiatives, for example, the Transfer Hub or FIRE, they will waive the amount of the tutoring that it will cost. It's typically like I think $100, but it will be waived. Like you won't pay for it if you attend 10 sessions. So that's like kind of how it works, just so you could get help. But yes, there is going to be tutoring access. It will be through Zoom, and it should be on Lark.
Okay, thank you, Karen. I'm gonna also, I don't know if it's already there. Oh, I'm gonna provide the website link for SSI so they can check it out, see what they offer. And we'll go ahead and move on to the next question. It says, what was your experience with the research opportunities at UCI?
For me, I think starting, like, just thinking about research was probably kind of a little scary, just because I always was like, research, like, I've done research paper before, but like, I don't know if I've ever, like, worked under somebody, like, to help them with their project and stuff. Like, that sounded too, like, intimidating and all that stuff. But honestly, like, being involved in it, I've learned so much, and like, I love it. Like, I love being involved in it. I love learning, just about things that I don't have the chance to have learned about before. So yeah, like, if you're interested, like, going to your op sessions, like, reaching out to your professors, like, that's already a huge step. So like, props to you for considering it. Like, it's research is very, like, I would just say, very rewarding and fulfilling, because you learn so much. You get to work with like a really cool team who's like passionate about the same thing. My experiences with research, I feel like everyone's experience is different depending on like the project and the professor they're working with. But for myself, like, it's been very amazing. Like, I've been able to clean data and then just like analyze journals and stuff like that. I'm very excited to do my own. Like, I'm hopefully starting that soon, so I'm very excited. But if you're ever interested to learn more about my process or learn about like a little more about my experience, you could always email me and everything. So I'll love talking to you about it. But yeah, if you're interested, definitely go check out Europe, make an appointment, go to their session, just so you could get talking about it, about what you're interested in too.
Thank you, Marimar. Anyone else want to chip in? No? Okay. Alrighty. So we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next question. It says, I heard most classes will be pre-recorded. Is there a way I can check if my classes are Zoom or pre-recorded for this quarter? I would definitely say the syllabus would be like your best bet. Like, that's where it's gonna be mentioned, and that's not gonna happen till like the first, like, before school starts. So definitely check your syllabus. That's where it's gonna happen. I don't know if anybody else has like anything else that they've heard. No.
I would also say, email your professors if you are unsure about that as well. Like, I know that when I looked at the syllabus, sometimes it's not always clear if it's going to be a Zoom or pre-recorded. So just definitely, if you're really like worried about that, email your professor.
Oh yes. Even for books, like, I remember last quarter I wasn't sure about a book that was listed on the syllabus, and I emailed the professor way before school started, and I told it, not on the syllabus, it was on the UCI bookstore, and I emailed her just to make sure we needed it, and she was very responsive. So I'm pretty sure your professors will give you like some quick insight on what they want or expect for their class. Okay, so we're gonna move on to the next question. It says, which jobs do you guys recommend for us to sign up for?
To start off, an on-campus job, just because they will work with your schedule. I know that isn't very specific, but try to avoid off-campus jobs, just because the majority of the time they don't really work by your schedule. You have to work like within their schedule. But if you get an on-campus job, like, they will work with you. Also, like, if you're interested in academic counseling, let's say, for example, like, for grad school, this is a perfect job, to apply for. If you're interested, let's say, like, something around like health, I believe Marimar mentioned like an opportunity about that. So yeah, like something that you're just interested and passionate about, just so or that you're interested, just so it could also like help you like discover yourself, or but yeah, on campus job.
Oh, go ahead, Marimar, go ahead.
I was just gonna mention, like, a lot of resource centers on campus have like on-campus job opportunities too. So that's really cool. Like, the place that I volunteer at, they do have job opportunities. So if like you're interested in health, I could definitely put the link there so you could keep updated with like the positions that open up too.
I would like to add also, like, since we're transfer students, like, we're kind of scared to kind of like find a campus job. Like that was my idea, but honestly, yeah, take advantage of like the campus jobs because it's easier, it's more flexible. I mean, you're already on campus and you can go to class, or if you where we were on campus. But if you can't, if you have an outside job, I would also suggest like to get a job that is like part-time. Don't overwhelm yourself with full-time. I mean, most of us like sometimes have jobs that are already off campus, like either being retail or fast food. I definitely suggest you to take advantage of the fact that you are a student and make sure you relay that to your manager if you already have a job, or if you apply to a job. That way they know that you are not always going to be there in certain times that they might need you. But like Karen said, like school jobs are very understanding and the best choice, but sometimes that's not always the case. But yeah, like for me, like I worked at Macy's. So it was good, it was very flexible, but then as time progresses, like it sometimes it doesn't work out. But yeah, always have communication with your employer, and yeah, I'm pretty sure most of the time they'll understand, but not always. I'm not gonna promise that, but yeah. Anyone else want to chime in? No. Okay. So it says there's a petition going around to lower tuition. Did you guys sign? I had no idea there's a petition. Where is it?
I found it through Instagram.
I'm living under a rock. Oh my god, someone guide me. No, I haven't signed. You guys knew already about it? You didn't tell me, Karen? I'm just kidding. Yeah, so my pick, I didn't know, but I mean, I'll find it. Okay. So how many hours did you guys work? Did they give you the hours, days you wanted? For like on campus jobs or for outside jobs? I don't know. I don't know if you guys want to answer that question. Like for campus jobs.
So for on-campus job, I'll give like, I guess like our job, for example. So for us, on-campus jobs. Okay.
Okay.
All right. So the maximum hours that we're allowed to work a week is 10. And let's say if you get a second job, the maximum hours you're allowed to work is 19.5, I believe. Yes, 19.5. So the on-campus, the maximum 2, which is 19.5 hours. And the reason for that is because of funding, because there's other students, and sometimes like they don't want to fund us. Like the school makes a lot of money, but like what the hell? Yeah. So yeah, 2 jobs, 19.5 hours.
Regarding like the days that or at least for me, when I had a job or like a different job, they had us fill out like a preference sheet, and a lot of the times I would get my preferences. So yeah, on campus jobs are actually like Karen said, they're very like flexible around your schedule, and also at least like in my experience, we were all very like we took care of one another. Like when someone had a final coming up, then they would post on like our little group chat thing, like, can someone take my shift or like trade with me? And like literally within minutes they would have their shift covered. So like I would hope that that's like the environment for a lot of other on-campus jobs. But yeah, very nice.
Thank you. Yeah, like we mentioned, like if we get an on-campus job, most likely everyone's very understanding that you're a student, and then they'll like work more with you. But yeah, that's pretty awesome, Christy. Okay. The next question says, would you recommend getting a job the first quarter we transfer to UCI? What do you guys suggest?
I would personally say no, just because for me, transferring to UCI and starting college was just really difficult. And that especially that first quarter, I think that with a job, it would have overwhelmed me even more. So I would say no, but also if you kind of know yourself and think you can handle it, I don't think that it's necessarily a bad thing either. But just for me personally, I would say no.
Same with Samantha. I personally would say no. Get used to the quarter first, because like for example with me, it took me 2 quarters to get used to it, and then after the 2 quarters, that's when I started to apply to jobs, and now I'm able to like manage everything just because I know like how fast paced everything goes.
I definitely agree too, because I mean the overwhelming experience of just transferring is pretty like heavy on some students, but like Samantha said, like there is different people like how they handle things. Like you know yourself, if you feel like you could take it on, like by all means go for it. But yeah, like just take care of yourself right now. Like, you know, think of like your adjustment, and then after that you can make like stern decisions about if you want to take on a job, and then your academics, and then everything you want to take on, because you are a transfer student, you have 2 years, so it might feel like, oh, I need to get it on, you know, get on the boat, but I mean you have time, like, but not so much time again. But take into consideration your mental health, because you don't want to like take a job and like feel so overwhelmed and kind of like let yourself down. It's not a good thing. But yeah. Okay, so we have a, what is this, a petition. It's a petition.
Petition link.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna sign it. Thank you, Andrea. Okay. I got it.
I posted the link on the regular chat. Like I copied and pasted right now.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. We have another question. Let's see. It says, is anybody moving to Irvine this year?
I am in Irvine. I'm at Camino. So I stay at the 4-bed, 4.5 bathrooms. It's pretty cool just because like you have your own bathroom, and then you know you have your own washer and dryer. And I think this year, even though it's 4 beds, it's still only going to be well, on my case and like some other people I've seen, that it's just 2 people living in the house. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm here.
I live in, I'm sorry. I live in Orange County. I live in Santa Ana, so I'm close. But yeah, I've gone to Irvine for like certain small things, but yeah, I'm here. Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, I was just gonna say I'm moving back as well. That's literally it.
Okay, cool. Oh my God, just links there. Okay, we have another question. It says, so did they separate doubles or singles, or is it max 2 people no matter the floor plan? Does anybody know?
I know for where I'm living in Puerto del Sol this year, and I was supposed to be in like is a 4 person, but doubles for, so there's 4 people total, but 2 rooms with 2 people in each, and they've basically only made it now, so there's only 2 people living in it, and each of us have our own room. And I don't know if that's for every single housing community. I'm not sure how that's working, but that's specifically for like Puerto del Sol.
I want to say that they are separating to singles based off an email they sent, but I don't remember when they sent it. But hopefully it is singles, just because it'll also minimize, you know, people catching COVID. So yeah.
Yeah, I heard the university is very strict on like the whole like COVID thing and like social distancing and all that stuff. I even heard that some people are like, if they're found out that they're meeting and stuff, like they'll get sanctioned. But I don't know. I just heard that. But it's very a strict process, I guess. The UC really wants to be on top of like everyone being social distancing, and then having like their students safe and their faculty as well. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that kind of like delves into the housing too. Like they want to have everybody safe. It says, I have a question. Are they really testing you guys every week for COVID if you live on campus? Oh, wow. Is it true?
So according to the email that they sent out, they will be testing every week. However, it hasn't started yet. It will start September 9. I think 9, 10, and 11. So they're trying to do the molecular test every week. So I hope that's not the nose swab because that really hurts, you know. But yeah, they will be testing every week. They're going to make the new students that are coming in quarantine for 14 days. And let's see what else. And then they're doing the daily symptom check as well. So you're going to be logging in. I'm already doing that because we're workers. I don't know if any other PAs have. But they haven't started the weekly testing, but supposedly they are going to start doing that like next week. So yeah.
That's good to know. I didn't know that. But yeah, we do get the daily symptom checking email, even though we're not even working on campus. But like I mentioned, like the youth university is very on top of like trying to keep everyone, I guess, safe and like out of reach of COVID, which is understandable. And I guess we'll all have to just comply and get our vaccine. Do you link the daily symptom link? Okay, we have a question. Can you link the daily symptom link?
So for the daily symptom link, they will be sending, I don't know if it's like a specific link, but they're going to be emailing you, and you have to like respond to the email, or you download the app that is called Mobile Now. And it basically looks something like this when you go to your notifications. I don't know if you guys can I'll just put my phone. But yeah, these are all like the notifications like every day that I've been getting it. Yeah, and like I have to when I click on it, it says, are you working on site or not on site? And I always put like not on site. But yeah, the app is called Mobile Now. And if you don't download the app, they'll just be emailing you and you have to respond back to the email. So it's not a specific link.
Yeah, I agree. The link even is personalized to your name. The link, the email, it says, dear, for example, me, Iris, go ahead and do this, and that. And then you just press like if you're not on campus, and it directs you to like email them back saying, oh, I'm not on campus. And then they thank you and they send you an email back. So it's like specific to, I guess, who they think might be on campus, because maybe us that were PAAs, they might think, oh, you're probably going to go sometime maybe during the week, and just to make sure that we're not going and feeling sick or whatever. So yeah, I think if it'll happen. Oh, Waylon. Okay, yeah. So Waylon's kind of demonstrating there, but I can't really see it. How? Yeah, and then there's a link. Yep, and then you just press on that, and it creates like an automated like response for them, and then yeah, you're good to go. But I guess that those are going to be sent out more in the future, maybe when school starts.
The link about the daily symptom check, like if you want to download the app or if you want to like know more, that email, I'm checking on my emails, that was sent out August 24. So if you go back to your UCI email where it says August 24, you should find the Vice Chancellor's Student Affairs email that talks about the daily symptom check. So it's like something like this.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's August 24.
Cool. Does anybody else have any more questions that they want to get answered? We have 10 more minutes remaining, and we'll answer anything that you guys have. Those emails every day. Yeah, those emails are going to be sent every day. Oh, we have another question. Are you guys going to do any sessions for like this for Q&A? Going to do anything in the future? I don't know. Are we planning more sessions, or is it just like this one, this last one? Karen?
I don't think so, but like if students like maybe want to, then we will like see based off, like how many students do want a Q&A. But for right now, this is actually our last transfer Q&A. But yeah, hopefully in the future, once fall starts, if students do want one, then we will. But for right now, yeah, this is about it.
Yeah, I know. This is our last one. It's kind of like a bittersweet moment. But I mean, like I said, like if you guys have any questions, feel free to email us, like be specific on the email if you want a specific question answered by any of us. We're always here. I'm pretty sure that like your requests are going to be kept in consideration if we ever do another Q&A webinar in the future, even during like fall or whatever, like if that's the case. So please feel free to like, you know, let us know your suggestions, and I guess we'll just take them into account with all of us, and like for that demand, you know, like whoever wants to see us in this setting again. But please feel free to keep asking us questions right now, like of anything. I already signed the petition, by the way. I'm gonna keep sharing it because that's a very important topic for a lot of students, and it's something to really take into consideration.
So before like anyone else goes, like if you want to leave earlier, you just don't have any more questions, but we would appreciate the questions. So in the chat right now, the regular chat, I posted our peer advising email. If you do want to email us, the regular advising email, a little to learn more about us. And then once again, I posted the emails where you should be sending your I Get C.
Awesome, that's so amazing. Oh, we have another question. Did you guys get your FAFSA yet? Financial aid? No, like what do you mean, like your award letter or like or your disbursement, or what, like more specific please? Yeah, your award. Yeah,
I did.
yeah, we did. I did. I confirmed it and everything, because you need to pay your fees by September 15th. So it's best that you really touch on that if you haven't received it. Contact or make an appointment with the financial aid office, because they're taking appointments, but by phone, I believe, because they're working remotely as well. But really keep in touch, because it's the deadline September 15 for your fees to be paid. So yeah, it's September, you guys. Oh my God, we're gonna start the quarter like in a couple of weeks. It's so overwhelming, but you're all gonna do great. Like you guys have all the resources to be, you know, successful. When is it supposed to get dispersed? Mine is still under review, but my appointment is in 2 weeks. I definitely feel you on that. Like mine was reviewed as well. I don't know if it's because I did the waiver. I'm gonna be a little personal, but like the the what is it called, the health waiver, and it was reviewed. So I'm gonna tell you that that's why it's being reviewed on my end. I don't know, every case is different. Yeah, my appointment is like far ahead, like in the future, and I'm like, wow, I really need to talk to them now. But it's been what do you call it, fixed. It was because of that. So your disbursement, you can see it on the tab, like when you see your award, it tells you when the disbursement dates are. Like for example, for fall, winter, and spring, it'll tell you like the day that your aid is supposed to be dispersed. You can check that out there. I don't know if anybody has some other take on it, or I don't know, but that's how I saw it.
The overall date is supposed to be September 28th. But sometimes it changes depending on the student, like when everything was reviewed and stuff like that. So you would go to your ZOT account and check your credits, and then it'll say the date.
Yeah, like that's how I checked. It just says like the September 28th, and then it'll tell me for winter and spring when it's scheduled to do. But you know, sometimes things happen. It's different. It says, so you're under review. I think just be patient. It'll probably, maybe because of that, I don't know, but yeah, because really like the appointments for financial aid are like long in the future, literally. So just be patient. I'm pretty sure like they know, like the financial aid knows that people are like bombarding them with like questions, but I don't know if anybody has another different experience. No. Okay, so we're gonna go to the next question. It says, where do we go to see what textbooks we need for the class? Like we mentioned the syllabus, but like also the UCI bookstore kind of has a thing, but that's not reliable as well, because professors sometimes change the textbooks they require for their courses. So that's also something like weird. The best bet would be like to reach out to a professor and like, you know, and ask them like, oh, like, is this really like your updated textbooks? And sometimes they don't even know like if they fixed it or not. In some cases, not all the time. But yeah, I don't know if anybody else has anything to add.
I usually wait for like the first lecture so that I could know like what edition or like what book they want, because sometimes like they could have a book in like their syllabus and then you may not even need it later on. So just in case that happens, like to avoid you spending any money you don't have to, like I would just wait till the first lecture, and like once you know, I would like search it up right away, just because a lot of people like they're gonna get that same book and like the price could go up, or like it'll be harder to find it. So that's what I usually do too.
Great. It's kind of like a hit or miss, because like for me last quarter, the spring quarter, I for some reason I was like a super scholar and I ordered my books really really like early before the quarter started, and it was actually the best thing, because after that a lot of students in that class were saying I can't get my book because of COVID, it's been really bad. But I'm pretty sure like that's not gonna happen now. But you always have to kind of make time for like things that unexpected things that could happen. But like Marimar said, like yeah, like always don't waste money that you don't have to, because you know books are expensive, and like sometimes you can even get PDFs of things. So make sure to do your like research on books, and make sure like you don't pay like $100 million for a book. So next question would be, so are we supposed to pay out of pocket and get reimbursed after? Pay out of pocket for your tuition?
Yeah, I think they meant tuition.
Okay. Oh wow. I don't know. What do you guys? Pretty sure that would happen if that was the case, but I don't know. What do you guys have
I
on that?
would recommend contacting the financial aid office.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. We're trying our best to answer questions.
We don't want to say something that's like totally like bad news, like not relevant news. But most likely your financial aid has the right answer. Because every case is different. I don't know if like financial aid is taken into account, like they have really like far away appointments that maybe some students like really need to contact them. But I'm pretty sure I don't know, just contact financial aid. And I believe the link or how to get an appointment was put down by Waylon, I believe. Yeah, thank you so much, Waylon. It says, when did you guys apply to be a PAA?
Applications open in December. And then if you get accepted, it should be, I think, around January. And then interviews are in February, and then you would start after spring break. So yeah, it's starting in December.
That's a very good timeline. That's true. Like I don't remember. I was like, wait, when did it happen? Because everything happened so much. So like, oh my god, you guys have to get a job as a PAA. Oh, it says, any advice on how to get the job as a PAA? My advice would be have a passion to help students. Like you have a genuine passion and eagerness to help students and really like help them achieve their goals, like we're all doing here. Take the time, and have empathy for students and your colleagues and everybody around you. That's one of my best advice, and I'm pretty sure that'll be portrayed when if you have an interview and you demonstrate that, those characteristics. My fellow PAs.
So like I never had a job besides this, like an actual job helping like advising students, but I would help like all of my friends with their general like ed plans when they were in a community college. So I would be like, okay, you need so and so class for this Cal State, or you need so and so class for this UC. There's the UC tag and blah 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 blah, and like just talking about that in my experiences, like even though it wasn't an actual job, I feel like that like helped me get the PAA job. Also be yourself, be bubbly. So yeah,
that's true. Like, and don't be scared to apply, just go for it. Like, be yourself, like Karen mentioned. And yeah, go ahead.
Oh, and Waylon said, please visit the career pathways. That's actually how Waylon got her job. That's how she discovered the PAA job. The career pathways also, they help you with interviews. So in case you need help, like, acing the interview, if you want to be a PAA, go ahead, like, yeah, the Zoom meetings for the mock interviews. So yeah, that's how Waylon found this job. So yeah. Oh, there's another question. How did you make an appointment with Career Pathways?
Oh, I believe Waylon has that covered. I see her moving. On their website.
There you go. Waylon posted the link.
On their website, they have like their way of contact, and I'm pretty sure everything's gonna be via Zoom or email if you have any like specific questions that you want to get answered. Like I mentioned, like we all mentioned, the resources, everything's out there. Just reach out, go to their website. Like if you don't even know the website, just type like anything UCI and they'll give you like this, everything will pop up, and you just, whatever is to your convenience, you'll take advantage of. And you can ask us too. You can email us and ask us like, oh, what's good for this, like for counseling, for academics, anything, and we'll lead you to the right resource. So, oh my God, 3:32, 3:33. Does anyone have any last minute questions that you want to like, we can like spot answer anymore? I think we're good. I think we're good. Okay. So thank you so much everyone for attending our Q&A. It was very awesome to answer all your questions. They were very, very interesting actually. And I'm pretty sure we all related to them as somehow. Just my last word of advice, take care of yourself, be nice to yourself. You'll do awesome. Transfer students are some kind, like we have a different experience, but just know that we are here to help for anything you guys need, anything, anytime, via email. And just you're gonna do great. Fall quarter is gonna be different, like for all of us, but we're gonna attack it like we're good students since community college, because community college kind of geared us up.
So thank you all for coming. You're free to leave. We are going to stay here until everyone leaves. And if you can't figure out a way to leave, we'll help you leave.
In a nice way.
Yeah.
We'll guide you. Thank you so much, everyone. If you're here in the area, stay fresh.